It's another special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm your host, Dan Ramey, and we have with us in studio today, ladies first, Jessica and also Daniel, the Greisheimers that are here. Thank you so much. I know "the" is not part of your name, but collectively we'll say that, I guess, just for today.
It works for me.
Yeah. We're going to talk about movies, how to make them, and also one that's in production. We're going to have all that for you coming up in just a matter of moments. But first, this from Kingston National Bank.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our Kingston National Bank mobility app today.
As we mentioned, we wanted to talk about movies today, and I'm not the movie guy. I'm just the guy that asks questions. But we have some folks who are in the middle of the movie biz right now, and one who knows enough to be able to teach it, and that's you.
Yeah. Oh, yes, yeah.
Daniel Greiesheimer with us, Chillicothe product from Circleville. We have Jessica Greiesheimer. You've got a movie in production, sort of. It's going to start here soon, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct. It's in the end phases of pre-production right now, and I'm still in the fundraising phases and still reaching out to sponsors. But ultimately, it is going to start filming in, I guess it's next month now.
Yeah.
I keep saying a couple of months. Time keeps going forward.
Yeah, time is here almost. Yeah. The movie is Without Her. We're going to talk about that in just a bit. You've probably read about it on our website in recent months, but more details coming up in just a moment. But Daniel, you're here because being a filmmaker now, you've been doing this a decade or so?
It's been about 12 years. Yeah, it's been about 12 years and going on 13. And it's overall with experience, you have to have the knowledge. Mm-hmm. And I just feel that you have to have somewhat experience, especially on more hands-on training, and that's why I will help provide with experience, with other professionals, mm-hmm. with professors from like Ohio Media School, but also with like directors and actors all across the state. Yeah. So yeah,
you told me before we went on here that you went out to Los Angeles just to kind of throw it all together and get started, and it was like, man, what have I gotten into?
Oh yeah. No, that was when I first got started into it, and where I did not do any research, and always do research before you.
Prep work is key, right?
Yeah. Especially when you move out of the state, always make sure, like, hey, is it cool out there? But it's also just make sure you have the knowledge of the industry. And also, give yourself more like an insurance, where you can be, okay, you feel more comfortable, and just be ready.
Yeah. And there's the little things you need to know. Like, for instance, we shot a TV commercial to sell these electric bikes. And part of the filming we were doing was on the sidewalks in downtown Chillicothe, which it's against the law to ride a bike on the sidewalks. You have to be on the street. I didn't know that.
I remember when I was a kid, like, hey, don't ride in the street.
Yeah, exactly. It's like reverse order.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Adulting.
Right. We learn as we go. But you have to learn these territorial things, too. And I got to believe that, and we're straying off the topic here, but so much filming is done now in Georgia. And I got to think that maybe they might be a little more lax on things as opposed to out in California.
Oh, yeah, because Atlanta is the new LA, and that's what I've been noticing and been told. And Pittsburgh is doing a lot more film, but like it's kind of like there's Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati, Louisville, Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. And I want to help put us on that category as well.
And we want to see that happen too. It was really cool when Marvel Studios came and did Spider-Man in Cleveland and all that kind of stuff. And we've had a number of things shot here. You've shot here as well.
Yeah.
And so why not? It all happens in Chillicothe, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, everything.
So if you want to learn how to make these films, you've got a series that's going to begin here at OU Chillicothe. It's called Make Your Own Movie Series. And you have kind of instituted this, and you've got other professionals who are going to participate so that those who are interested in making films, now here I'm answering all these questions for you, you're giving people an opportunity to learn the things that you gleaned along the way so that they don't have to learn it the way you did.
Yeah, because it shouldn't have to be a rocky road, especially for the future filmmakers and creators, because we all have this knowledge and experience. We shouldn't gatekeep. We should be able to just pass the knowledge down and just work together and just create some art along the way.
Yeah, I was telling Aaron Glandon, our producer, yesterday about Howard Suber, who was a longtime professor at UCLA, I believe it was, on filmmaking. And TCM has been running this The Power of Film series. And he just had me in the palm of his hands talking about what a director and writer is trying to do to draw you into the movie itself. And I'm sitting there thinking, man, I've bought into this all the time throughout my life watching movies, and now you're telling me how it's done, and I'm like, dang. But they were doing this back in Roman times, with plays and things, right?
Because like it started like in the Roman times, and then fast forward to like the Renaissance, because we're going to be talking about somewhat of the history of filmmaking, very briefly in the class, but we won't waste too much on history because we have to focus on the future, and that's where we need to actually push the knowledge in, because there's going to be 9 classes, and there's going to be like a 10th class, but it's not marked on the website. It's just going to be a film festival. I want to get all the students who was in the class, so they can actually put their skills to the test.
Nice.
I think it'd be really cool.
And with the smartphones we have today, it's becoming so much easier to do something like that.
Yeah, Jess just got a new phone. And just from example, it could shoot, what was it, 5K?
Oh yeah, it's like
it's
ridiculous, the amount of photo quality, video quality, like the stabilizer in it and everything is. Yeah. But it's what's available right now for the common market. Is like, I kind of joke that I have a camera that takes phone calls.
That's what it's become, isn't it?
It is. It really is. But I think using that technology that has become available to us has never made it more affordable to make your own movie than it is today.
And there's been a lot of B-list and A-list movies that have been recorded on iPhones and just smartphones in general. And we all have the capacity to go about this and not break the bank.
Right.
And that's where I want to also give, I don't know, like, I don't want people to feel defeated, because when you see a friend and like, oh look, I have a $10,000 camera, and you look at your phone like, yeah,
So do I.
but like, is this where I wanted it to be just fair for the creators and like the artists, where like it's all okay to be able to go about at your own pace.
Yeah.
And I just want to be there for the future creators and just help them along the way.
One of the interesting things, and I enjoy it, is editing. And when I first got into what we're doing here, I was 40 years in radio, and I'm like, I edited in the audio portion. Why can't I do the same thing with video? Because I've been studying for this my entire life. I've been watching TV, and I've seen how people do it. And I'm sitting here one day editing a film, and I'm like, dang, okay, that's how it's done. I can do this. So it's like that light bulb goes on, and suddenly it becomes easy. It's not easy, by the way, but it becomes a little easier.
It does.
It's really, it's because once you're on production, there's a different type of stress where you're like, oh no, this is the fun type of stress. It has to be fun.
Yeah.
And which you're holding yourself accountable at that point, because like where you're like, okay, I have to get this from like point A to point B. I have to do this. And especially when you're on set or in the editing room, there's a time frame. And that's where it's like, okay, I got to do this. And within the classes, we're going to be teaching like a lot of ways, like the skill sets where we can try to help you with the frame of mind to put you in that skill set. And I just overall, I just want people to realize like, hey, we're all learning this together type of thing. And at the end, you will be able to put your skills to the test.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't want to, that's totally fine, but it's there if you want to. So
I have learned, whether it's Sunday school teaching or broadcast teaching, it's amazing. Sometimes I'll learn something from the kids, and that's where it comes to sharing knowledge.
yeah,
Right?
because the perspective of each and every artist is subjective, of course, but it's like where it's eye-opening, because I can sit here and just talk on this subject, and next thing you know, like, I would never thought of that.
Yeah.
Like I just would never, like, I don't know, because that's what I really love of, especially this community. There's a lot of artists like have a lot of influence, and their perspective means the world, especially here. I don't know, just within the community. It's just they need to be more outspoken.
And they don't mind sharing, though.
Yeah.
That's
It's very
the neat thing.
collaborative.
And we were talking before coming on here. I think that's just Midwestern mentality.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's how we are, helping each other through here. Now, Jessica, with your project, by the way, those classes are going to start March 6th.
Yes, March 6th. March 6th through
May 1st?
May 1st.
That sounds right.
Okay. And that's on a Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. at OU Chillicothe and inside Bennett Hall. So if you want to learn more, there's a website you can go to find out details, right?
Yes, you can actually go to the OUC website, Chillicothe, and you can go to the community classes, and it'll be listed along the other classes. They are $20 a class. You don't have to commit to a class if it doesn't interest you. You can take all the classes, but just to be aware, if you're not interested in that subject, you can still come, but more the merrier.
Is there credit?
There is no credit because since it's a community class,
Okay.
it doesn't intertwine with the actual credentials.
Right.
We will be handing out certificates of completion, and where it can actually just show that you have learned, and also we're going to be giving out a lot of like products along the way.
Yeah,
along the
nice.
classes.
I like hearing that. Now, what is getting ready to lead into is Jessica's doing something that a lot of people find extra challenging, and part of that is working with an animal with your movie project that's going on. The movie is called?
It's called Without Her. And it's a dog's perspective on a really serious topic about domestic abuse and the dogs and women that become victims of domestic abuse. A lot of it was written from my own story as somebody who was a victim of domestic abuse that never even knew I was a victim until I became a survivor, and didn't even fully embrace the survivorship aspect until I became an advocate for domestic violence. So this has been a very intense life purpose for me to use the art of filmmaking, kind of how we were talking about, where directors and writers spend so much time in communicating in the right way to get that feeling across. And that's something that I've always found very fascinating, is connecting the most powerful form of human emotion. I've always been told that I'm too sensitive, and I do definitely cry over any like cute commercial on TV, anything. I'm the person that's crying in the room. But I believe that sensitivity is a part of what makes us as humans in a society, in this community, so wonderful. And so pushing forward every single day, every year, this town and all of the people in it grow tremendously in every single beautiful way. And I love the opportunity to cut my own slice of that out for this community that not only gives my sense of fulfillment with my purpose, but really makes a positive impact on this community's most vulnerable people and really just even the victims who have paws.
We've got a box of tissues over here if we need them.
I might need them.
I watched the trailer for what you have for solicitation for sponsorship and everything. What a great concept. And to have the dog's character, you hear the dog's voice talking about, this is my girl. And then you tie that into, she's just in a bad relationship. But the dog, here's what I'm getting to, trying to help people understand. The dog needs to go with her because she needs to go to a shelter, but there's not many shelters that will allow that pet to come. And that's the untold story, I think, that people know about or don't know about.
It absolutely is. It's something that I didn't know until I started doing my own research because I thought I was so alone in my thought process of I chose not to leave for a very long time because I didn't know what would become of my dogs, and I knew I wasn't going to leave them behind. So I thought at the time that making the decision to stay was a decision of protecting them. I learned better since then, but it ultimately, it has amplified a lot of my own inspirations with research and finding out that there's about 19 women and dogs per minute every single day that are living through this and not leaving because a lot of women, their dog is their only friend. When you're at that point in your life, it feels like the only person that truly unconditionally loves you and cares about you is your dog. And to capture that type of emotion from the heart of a dog and their dog's words, I think it's something that we all do all the time. I know I do with my own dogs at home. They all have their own voices and own personalities. And to see that come through in such a heartwarming way, I think is what's going to truly make a tremendous impact for not just Chillicothe, because it starts here, but it doesn't end here by any means. Yeah. We just take what the inspiration we've grown here in Chillicothe and we copy and paste it in every single community, just like Chillicothe.
Some folks don't understand the tie between an animal and yourself. That's a relationship that you can tell that animal anything. If you're a high school kid, you've probably gone through breakups and things you don't understand, and that animal has been there to understand it with you. And they've been your therapist in many aspects. And that's a forgotten thing in all of this aspect.
It really is. And that's something that I truly resonate with my own dog, who's the star, or one of the stars. He likes to think he's the star of the movie, but he's the starring dog for sure of the movie. And I've spent the past 11 years working with him and training with him for film without even necessarily realizing it. Until I met Daniel, this had never even crossed my mind to get into film. So this is a part of why I really love and am so passionate about his dreams with making Chillicothe that much more of a creative community and that much more of a strong foundation of collaborative artists. Because when I met him and he's like, "Oh, I'm an actor and I make films," and I'm like, "What? You can do that here? What do you mean?" Mm-hmm. So that was really cool, just to even get introduced to. I remember being invited on set to shadow, and then suddenly I just started helping out more and more, and he couldn't get rid of me until now we're married.
Did you see that happening beforehand? Or
Fix them post.
Is that right?
No, I did not really see that coming, but things that you don't imagine happening are sometimes the most magical. Yeah. So it's overall with the creative field, you meet amazing people.
It's always the plot twist that makes the movie more interesting.
Are you acting right now?
No.
But what a great way to put creative opportunities together to tell a story, you know. For people who want to find out more, you're going to start shooting in March. You hope to have a screening available by this fall, right?
That is correct. So I'm aiming to still have the screening event at the Majestic in October for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. There's still a few details that I'm working out in regards to getting the movie filmed. That's definitely the first hurdle to go through, but I'm so excited for this opportunity to bring the finished film. I can't even say bring it home because it never left here. It's all going to be filmed here. It's a lot of the development, the production has all happened here. So it's really cool to just keep it home and get to finally broadcast that to every single person who wears their heart on their sleeve like I do and use that for good. Because this is something that you get a lot of, especially when you're working in film, is like, oh, you want to make a bunch of money? Do you want to be really famous? Is that why you're doing this? And like for me, I know for both of us, really, it's not about the fame or the money. It's about the passion. It's about feeling good and doing good. And this is a part of our love language back to the city, essentially. And I don't care personally if that ever makes me rich or if any one more extra person knows my name. If I can create something that is some resemblance of hope for the women that were just like me here, that is everything to me.
Yeah. I have to think your initial feedback has been along the lines of, man, nobody's heard my story, but you're starting to tell my story. And you find a connection there with the audience.
I definitely do. I have a lot of women who have come up to me in the past 2 years since this started developing. And I so appreciate every single person who has ever come to me in some way through messages, in person, whatever the case is. And they said, oh my gosh, I went through the same thing. And I didn't think that anybody else would ever hear or understand what I was going through at that time or what I am going through. And this is that message that you are heard and you do matter. Your dog matters. All of them, they all matter. And that healing and that growth is something that I was very, very lucky to ever even have the opportunity to experience. And I want everybody to have that chance too. Yeah.
There are 3 key words that I think are very comforting to people, and that's you're not alone. And when you find that common ground, it changes everything.
It
really does.
Really does. And I think dogs connect us as people, sometimes even more than people connect us as people.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of using the love of dogs to connect the love of people back to each other.
My wife is a cat person, has been for all of the lives I've known her. And the thing about dogs, they're your property, and they're man's best friend. Cats own you.
Yes.
That's all I know. So we have housed several of them. We've been living with them, I guess, is the way to look at it. So, but their extra personalities and that they all help drive the engine, so to speak.
I think that'd be more of a difficult movie is filming a cat.
Yeah, because herding cats is no fun. It's not easy at all.
We're still looking for a cat actor.
That could be another class or another series.
Yeah, right.
Acting with cats. Anything, final words? How can people learn more? By the way, I forgot to mention this. You had some big news here recently for your project, right?
Yes, absolutely. So Without Her production has been picked up and selected to be fiscally sponsored by a LA production company called From the Heart Productions. They specialize in very, very true to their name. They specialize in films that capture the spirit of humanity and that really capture your heart and your attention. So it was something really meaningful to me that they saw the value of that shared value in their company and this project. And it's a snowball effect where everybody they're seeing it more, and they're seeing that what true good this is going to put into society. And that definitely opens up a lot more doors in terms of fundraising for a movie, because no matter what, a movie's not exactly cheap to make. No matter how many tips and tricks and creative ways you've got to cut some extra expenses out of the budget, you still ultimately want to pay people for their time and make sure that everybody is taken care of while they're on set and everything is ran safely. So that is a big reason why that we've been seeking that sponsorship with From the Heart Productions to go forward with being able to accept tax-deductible donations and really make this the best possible film that it could be, so we can get the message out in the most effective way possible.
One day you may have a $10 million budget. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I think it will happen one day.
Keep your nose to the grindstone, as they say. And I have a feeling through the two of you, we're going to start seeing a lot more movie cameras and things taking place, scenes being set, and people recording everything, because they'll go and learn from your classes, and they'll put it to fruition with what you're doing in your production. So,
and that's a definite side mission for me, is like, if I can inspire somebody like he inspired me to just go do it.
yeah.
Nothing's going to hold you back except for yourself and your own mindset sometimes. And once you break through a lot of those mental obstacles, the whole saying, the world is your oyster, is very, very true.
Life is an obstacle course. The world is your oyster. It comes together sooner or later. Thank you again for coming in and sharing today, and best of luck to you. And
I was going to say something.
Sure.
My apologies.
That's right.
And if you are interested being an extra, or if you have a business if you want your business to be in the movie, please reach out. By all means, we're taking and
We love to represent Chillicothe as much as we can.
And I just want to put it out there. If anyone really wants to be in the movie, just give us a message or give us an email. But yes, I'm so sorry.
No, I completely forgot about the recruiting phase of this. So, one more message to share out with you. So, again, if you want a Star is Born, it could happen right here. Thanks again for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Daniel and Jessica Greiesheimer on this special edition of Litter Media Live.